There you go. Okay, got it. All right, so I found this neat video here, and it's just a video that this teacher wrote for her students to help them process COVID-19. I know that it's just been such a crazy time here in our life. So anyways, I wanted to show this to you guys.
As much as the world continues on in isolation, people working from home, they're trying to figure out things to do with their families, things to figure out how to pass the time. Lindsay counts, a lot of teachers have been going online and coaches trying to help out their students and their athletes. This one teacher in particular, music teacher, I thought was phenomenal. Not only did she pick up an instrument and decide to help out her student and spread some joy, but she wrote a song, and as inspiration, she was going to share what she's been going through and how it makes her feel while she's in isolation. Have a look.
Hey, so as some of you guys might know, I'm a music teacher, and I found that one of the best ways that I can process the whole transition to online learning and teaching is to write a song. So I wrote a song. I'd like to share that with you guys now. Here we go.
Anyways, that's just real goofy. And I just had to show you that because I think we're all kind of at that point now where we're just, oh man, this thing just keeps on going along and everything. You know, kind of, there's kind of news where some more cases broke out up here. So it's kind of a very unique time that we're living in anyways. Just wanted to show you that. That was kind of funny. The next thing I wanted to transition into here, at the beginning of each of my classes, I always want to kind of go over, we are a tribal college, and I want to go over some of the tribal values that, you know, Lakota Ojibwe College agrees with here. And one way to do that is to look at the 7 grandfather teachings. I know some of you guys are probably very well aware of these. Other of you maybe not as familiar here. But I just have a short video I wanted to show you about you know, the 7 grandfathers as well. So we'll go ahead and play that.
The 7 teachings are love, honesty, humility, truth, wisdom, respect, and bravery. Achieve honesty within yourself. Recognize who and what you are, a child of grandfather's spirit. Do this and you can be honest with all others. Tell the truth even if you don't get what you want. Humility. Don't be too proud of yourself and your abilities. Realize you know very little of all the universe. Have a modest view of your importance. Let go of your ego and its needs. Truth. Truth is what people want, but sometimes don't want to hear because it hurts. Truth can be our companion. Learn and listen to truth, live with truth, walk with truth, and speak truth. Wisdom. Know the difference between right and wrong. Know what we say and what we do affects others. To cherish knowledge is a part of wisdom. To trust the Great Spirit is the beginning of wisdom. Love. Love must be unconditional. Everybody needs love, especially the weak. If one cannot love oneself, it is impossible to love anyone else. Love is larger than any of us. As we connect to it, we are gifted with the ability to love. Respect. To honor is to have respect. We must respect all people and all of creation. To get respect, you must give respect. When you know you are loved, you can give respect. Bravery. Do what is right, even when the consequences are unpleasant. Face the foe with integrity, whether it's a bad mood or an angry person. Bravery is the state of having a fearless heart.
All right. Well, yeah, so that basically breaks down the seven grandfather teachings here, these are kind of principles and ethics, things that will actually, they don't seem like they're directly related to a field in construction, but really at bottom line, these are things that are going to apply to any sort of occupation that you go into. If you go into, finance, you're obviously going to have a level of honesty that, you're able to kind of communicate well with people. Something, like a social worker or something, you have to have a lot of truth. You have to have a lot of humility and respect. So anyways, there are a whole lot of different occupations. Any one of these will, presented in a different way, will kind of relate to your different careers, in a field of road construction. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of get a gauge to who here has already heard of, the seven grandfather teachings before. You guys can do okay, sounds like some people here at St. Croix, that's good. And then maybe not as much on the main campus side, but that's okay too. And then out of all of these seven grandfathers, is there one of these that you feel like more relates to you than others? St. Croix, I think you're muted. I'm not sure what happened, but it looks like you're muted. I'm trying to unmute you, but. Oh, Cynthia, did you want to add something?
Well, I live by all of them on an everyday basis. Like I said, I've got a grandbaby and I've got 3 kids, so I've had to kind of learn all of them from a young age. So
wonderful. That's awesome. Well, congratulations. That's really great that you can live that way. And anyways, I'm just wondering too, Cynthia, how would you see if these connect to a field of road construction, just from your experience and all of your experiences?
Well, each and every one has its own place, obviously, but they all intertwine. And as far as the road construction, courage, you've got to be able to have the courage to be there on a daily basis so that you're there to not only help the public, but also to help your coworkers. Ergo, going into the love, the wisdom is that you realize that honesty is honesty with yourself and your coworkers. You're also being honest with who you're working for, which is the public. Humility is making sure that you realize that this is the path. Truth, that goes in itself, and respect, you have to respect the laws of everything.
Yeah, very well said. Good job, Cynthia. Yeah, and that I love what you said there too about how they all intertwine, because they really do. I mean, you can't really have respect without really having love for other people, and you can't really have love without having honesty and wisdom and truth. And so a lot of these things are all interwoven, and they are a great foundation for any sort of ethics, for any sort of field that you decide to pursue. So all of those will lead to a lot of success in whatever career ventures you end up going into, even if right now it's more of just a temporary thing. You're like, trans is just a way for me to get into a job. Like, these truths are going to apply to any job you go to. So if you're a lawyer or a social worker, or if you work in a hospital, or if you work at a bank, any one of these are going to intertwine and help provide that foundation. So does anyone else have any thoughts before we move on? All right. So we'll go ahead and move on next to the next topics here that we'll be covering for the day. This is called what we're going to be talking about next is ONET. And what ONET is basically a website. It's sponsored by the U.S. Department of Labor Statistics, It's used by all sorts of different career centers and career counselors as statistics all the way up. So that way you can kind of, see what the field is you're going to go into before you actually enter it. In ONET, there is a career assessment option as well. There's this thing called Bright Outlooks, where basically you can kind of see what jobs are projected to grow in the next 10 years or so. It gives you information on salary, information on education, information on growth rate, information on the skills that you need. And then they also have some professional development resources. So things like, they have like a job center for U.S. veterans if you're interested, if you have that military background. They also have like resources for like a career assessment. They have this thing called My Next Move, which kind of helps you figure out what are the next steps? What do I need to do now? So anyways, that's kind of a snapshot of what ONET is. I've got one video on ONET. It's real brief, so I'm going to go ahead and play that, and then we'll go ahead and go on the website, look through it for a minute, and then we'll get into the career assessment aspect here. So we'll play this for you.
Now that you have met with your academic advisor and the two of you have established some themes from your wandering map, I'm going to show you one way that you can search for careers that may match your personality, your skills, your interests, your abilities, based on those themes that you derived from the wandering map. So we're going to start here on this website. This is ONET Online, and the website is www.onetonline.org. And I'm going to show you some different ways to search here. So we're going to start up here at the top in advanced search, and we're going to assume that one of your themes was writing skills, that you enjoyed writing. And so we're going to click here at advanced search, and we're going to click on abilities. And then we're going to click in this little drop down box, and we're going to click on cognitive abilities. We're going to hit go. And then down here at the bottom it says written expression. We're going to click on that now. And this is one way that you can search by one of your themes to give yourself a list of careers that may match some of your interests, some of the things that you want to do. And from here you can click on the career and you can read more about it. There's lots of details on it. There's tasks, there's education needed, skills, the work context. So you can scroll through and learn a lot more about the career from this page. We're going to show you another way here to search. Going back to advanced search, we're going to switch themes to creativity. Creativity is one of the things that popped up from your wandering map as a theme. So clicking on advanced search here at the top, we're going to click on work activities this time. And then we're going to click on mental processes. And then we're going to click on thinking creatively. Again, this is going to just come up with another list. One thing I like about this website is that it leaves it purple, the link, after you click on it. So you can kind of keep track of how many times you were saying careers that you're interested in, how many times they pop up. So that can be really helpful in seeing if there are some themes to the careers that you're selecting, or if there's a certain career that fits multiple of your interests and themes and ideas. And there are other ways that you can search up here in the advanced search bar. You can search by knowledge, skills, work styles, and working conditions if you want to work outdoors. So let's do that. For example, if you want to work outside, we'll go to advanced search again, and then we're going to click on work context. From here, we're going to select physical work conditions. And then this is going to clarify what kind of conditions you want to be working with. So spending time sitting, spending time standing, exposed to contaminants. So there's lots of different things here. We're going to select exposed to weather. So we're going to click here. And again, it's going to bring up a list of careers that match that preference for your career. And so Hopefully this has helped you to get a little bit of a feel for what the advanced search portion looks like on ONET Online and how to match your themes from your wandering map and taking it a step further in deciding on some different careers that might fit your interests.
Well, anyways, guys, that is a kind of a brief overview of ONET here. Let me jump right back into the PowerPoint. All right, so do you guys have any questions? Who here wants to work with contaminants here? That sounded like a interesting. Yeah, anyways, does anyone have any questions on ONET real quick? All right, well, here's what we're gonna do next. I'm gonna go ahead and open up ONET. I'm gonna kind of walk you through a little bit of the mechanics, kind of, because she walked you through some of it, but there's some things she missed that I want to show you. And then after that, we're gonna jump into a career assessment. This is ONET.
Yeah.
Just like she said.
Wes,
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
we're having a hard time hearing you a little bit.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I just scooted up a little closer to the computer, so hopefully that'll help resolve that issue here for you guys. Okay, so this is onet.online.org, and so basically she did kind of go through the advanced search, and that was very helpful. So you could see kind of what the different contexts are for work, what the interests are. She also, there's skills and a whole bunch of other things as well. I did want to show you a little bit more specifically. This is kind of the ONET SOC code, which is basically your employment code. We're going to get to that in a second. That's through this I Wanna Be A. There's this information, this hub for US veterans. So does anyone have military background at all? No? Okay. Well, in case if you guys happen to know anyone that does have military background, just remember there is a lot of information to help veterans transition from, kind of their service into, civilian occupations as well. So there's a lot of really good information there. And then this thing called Hot Technologies. And basically that is going to show you a map of all the things that right now it says these are the skills you want to master, so that way you can get into good fields. Some examples of that would be like, say here, Adobe System Acrobat. That's like a kind of a computer software. Apple Mac OS, so like if you're good using Apple computers, that's also a really good skill to have. Let's just go Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word, a whole bunch of Microsoft here. There's Oracle Java, which would basically be like a kind of a reading software. So a lot of these are like computer kind of related stuff. Other things are more technology based too. There's like, Google Docs again, LinkedIn would be social media. So anyways, there is a whole lot of different avenues, things that maybe you could potentially do, so something like LinkedIn, that'd be pretty easy for you to jump in and, create an account, get used to that aspect. It'll actually help you get employed. Anyways, that's what hot technologies are. So we'll go back to here. And I just wanted to walk you through the occupations because I felt like she went through a little too fast. Does anyone have kind of occupation you want me to search real quick? Anybody have any ideas?
Let's do road construction.
Road construction, all right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we got operating engineers, construction managers. Let's find out for construction managers or highway maintenance workers. Which one would you guys like to do?
Let's do highway maintenance workers.
Maintenance workers, all right. So I wanted to walk you through this part a little slower because I felt like she just kind of zipped through it. There is a good description right here of just exactly what this job entails, what are the duties that are related. Maintain highways, municipal rural roads, airport runways, right-of-ways. Duties include patching broken or eroded pavement, repairing guardrails, highway markers, and snow fence. May also mow or clean brushes alongside the roads. And so then basically then it shows some of the titles that's in connection with it. So there's like operating equipment, highway maintenance. So maybe you're like reading through this and you're like, this one sounds like a good job, but not quite for me. This gives you some related titles. So if you're interested, like equipment operator, crew worker, highway maintenance technician, maintenance worker, maintenance technician, transportation maintenance specialist. So there's like a whole lot of different similar titles that maybe have different roles within that specific domain. It shows you some of the tasks, and we already kind of described it in the description a little bit, but some of the things that you'll be doing, some of the hot technologies. This is the thing I was talking to you guys about before. Microsoft Outlook and Office, that's basically, they want you to know how to send an email. They want you to know how to use Excel. Excel is this basically kind of like a spreadsheet thing, so you can keep track of your numbers. They're going to want you to know how to write things on Word. That way they know you're a good writer and that you'll be able to do that. And this isn't to scare you. In some jobs, they're going to have very, very few times where you actually use this, and other times you'll use it every day. For me, I use Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel, and Word every day. As a school bus driver, I used Microsoft Excel once a month when I had to punch in some numbers for the kids that rode my bus. That's all I had to do. So, and then when I worked for the trail maintenance, I didn't use a computer at all. So it really depends on the job and what level of technology they'll let you use, and you know what their requirement is. But I would encourage you, if you aren't familiar with computers and you would like some more information on that, there are tons and tons and tons of people here at the college that would just love to help you, get used to computers and get those skills and help you transition into the workforce. I myself, I'm pretty good at computers. I'd be glad to set up an appointment outside of class. We can just kind of walk you through some basics on Microsoft, and that way you can get yourself acclimated to that and get ready for employment. So there is knowledge, so it shows you some of the knowledge they're looking for. They want you to be fluent in English, a knowledge in transportation, that type of aspect. So, CDL, that type of thing. Building and construction, if you have a background in it, that's going to be helpful. If not, that's what things like trans are for, to get you that background, get you that hands-on experience. Education and training, same thing. The trans program is going to help you with that. And then public safety and security. I noticed a lot, and we'll get into that for the position descriptions. Almost every description starts off by saying they want someone who has experience, someone who has training, and someone who follows procedures and safety, that type of thing. So maybe it's something too where, you're going to be wanting to kind of think through, what are the safety precautions here? How do I learn this? How do I become an expert at all the right way of doing this procedure, and, making sure that things follow through. And that's what the OSHA thing is going to help you guys get through, that type of stuff too. That's part of trans. So you'll learn more about that in other facets of the program. And skills are pretty relatable, but they're a little more hands-on. Things like active listening would be like, I'm actually listening, I'm taking the information, I'm processing it, and now we're in communication. Like, I'm giving you my full attention. Operation monitoring, so watching, making sure people are doing things the right way, making sure that the machine's running the right way. Operations and control, making sure you know how to control that vehicle, that you're driving down the freeway and you don't end up running off the road or anything. I'll tell you an embarrassing story. As a school bus driver, one of my first years, there's this one kid that I had to drive to go pick up, and it was a special needs route. So there was a wheelchair lift. And in this particular this particular driveway they wanted me to go down. I had to drive down this hill, turn to the left, and then basically floor it up a hill to get out of there. That's great for September and October and November. And then you get to December and that hill turns into an ice rink. And that's kind of fun as you're driving a big, you know, multiple ton school bus down an icy hill to go pick up some kiddos here. And as I drove down the hill, I kind of slid down the bottom and I made it down to the bottom. But as I was trying to make my way back up, I'd start to drive up, and then I felt my bus spinning, and then it started kind of sliding back. So I decided to back up. I'm like, oh, I'll just rev it a little more. And so I just kept going back and forth. Eventually, I just got so stuck, I had to call my boss, and they had to come out with a tow truck and come yank me out of the poor kid's driveway. Probably traumatized that poor kid. He's going to be remembering the day that his bus driver was in his driveway here. But yeah, anyways, it's just to say, like, it was something that if I had had the experience maybe a little bit more, I was pretty green at the time, and so you're going to make some of those types of mistakes. I could have potentially taken it a little slower instead of trying to rev up that hill, just taking on medium speed, and I would have gotten out just fine. But it's just a matter of learning that, and sometimes that's just, you just learn it through experiencing it. So now I know what to do in those situations. But anyways, so that's some of the skills that you'll need to acquire. Some of the abilities are kind of the same type of thing, except this is a little bit more of that cognitive domain that she talked about. So things like problem solving, making sure that you're kind of critical thinking, always analyzing everything. There's this thing called the Smith system. They teach you in CDL. They might actually still teach it. I'm not sure. It's been a couple of years since I took my CDL test, but it's the saying goes, all good kids like milk. And it's kind of a, what do you call that, anagram or whatever. But A would be for aim high and steering. So you're gonna kind of shoot for whatever is 15 feet down the way or 150 feet or whatever. You're gonna make sure G is get the big picture. So you're gonna kind of look at the wide scope, make sure there's no deers or there's no kids running across the street or people trying to like swerve in front of you, anything like that. K would be keep your eyes moving. So you're going to want to check your mirrors like every, 5 to 6 seconds. You know, you're going to want to check a mirror and make sure everything's good and that there's nothing going to break your bus. L would be leave yourself an out. And that's important. I'll tell you, there was one time, again, as a bus driver, another embarrassing story. I was driving, and I lived in South Carolina at the time, and there was this big storm. It was like this basically brewing kind of hurricane, kind of end of the world kind of storm, it looked like to me anyways. Probably to other bus drivers, they're like, that's nothing. You should have seen the storm 5 years ago, you know, that type of thing. But it was kind of scary, and they told all the bus drivers, get in the school now, there's a tornado on its way, that type of thing. And so we all had to go in the school for a second. And of course, there's thunder and lightning, and you could feel the whole building kind of shake back and forth a little bit. And all the kids are panicking and, you know, that type of thing. And teachers are trying to keep them calm, but they're kind of panicking too. And anyways, that whole thing happens. The storm passes through. There's nothing really, there's not any damage. No one got hurt or anything. But we all got back in the bus, and now all of a sudden, the roads I would normally drive on that would be totally straight, there's these giant trees down everywhere, every which road, every which way. And so basically this big rat race of like, you know, kind of drive down this road and you come to a stop, and then you had to back up and go down to this road, and you come to another stop where there's a tree down. And so, oh man, turned a 2-hour route into, we were probably out there for 4.5 hours dropping off kids, you know, because of all the craziness that was going on with the storms and everything. I did not leave myself an out that day, which meant I drove down. I ran down and there was a big tree that was down. I got way too close to that tree, but I had traffic behind me. And so then basically we had to call, again, I had to call my boss and tell him, hey, I'm kind of in a pinch right now. I need you to come down here and give me a hand. So he sent the maintenance guy, and they had to back up, like literally like 10 cars had to all each back up so that I'd have enough room to be back and forth and get my bus out of the way, and so that they could all go on to do their own thing. So anyways, the abilities, that is about letting yourself kind of engage mentally, letting yourself engage into that job. If I'd used the Smith system that day, I would have left myself an out, and I would have, I would have made sure that that didn't happen. I didn't have to call my boss, anything like that. So anyways, we're gonna move on. Work activities kind of shows some of the things you'll be doing. Detailed activities are a little bit more specific. Work context is very helpful. It shows you like what specifically you'll be doing in a given day. So that, for example, this one, the road construction worker, you're going to be spending 94% of your job outdoors, exposed to the weather. So that means 6% of your job, probably that one day a year that they're like, hey guys, it's raining outside, so why don't you come in? We're going to do some inventory and try to shuffle 1,000 flags from this warehouse over to that warehouse. That's probably the 6% that you'll be spending indoors, and then the rest of the time they're going to keep you outdoors. It kind of shows you also like face-to-face discussions. You're going to be doing face-to-face every day, 86%. So there are probably a couple days where you're going to be out on some rural road by yourself, literally, just doing your job without really talking to people. But almost every day you're going to talk to somebody. Exposed to contaminants. Who here was excited about that? You guys have 74% of the time. So that means 3 out of every 4 days you'll have some contaminants to look forward to. So that's good. Job zone 2, this kind of gives you some information more specifically about the level of job it is. There's these things called job zones. We're going to get to that when we get in the assessment piece. Job zone 2 is going to be some preparation needed. So not necessarily job zone 0 where it's like you can enter with anything. This one, they want you to have a certificate. They want you to have like an OSHA training the trans program. It's going to be perfect. It'll fit right into job zone 2 here for you. Job zone 3 would be more like an associate degree. Job zone 4 is more like a bachelor's, and then job zone 5 is like master's and graduate level, that type of like super genius people that I can't ever understand. So anyways, then we kind of look into education. What are the kind of average educational obtainment for people in this field? A lot of people have a high school diploma or equivalent, so like a GED, HSCD. A lot of people, there are some, 5%, it looks like they don't have kind of any sort of actual like, high school diploma or equivalent. And then there's some people that do have an associate degree. And, I don't think, my guess is probably they got the associate degree, went to college, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to be a nurse. And so they go to college and they spend 2 years in nursing school, all pumped up and excited to be a nurse. And then they got into the field for that day, and they had a terrible day, and they realized, oh, I don't like nursing. And so they went back got a certificate. So I'm guessing that's where that associate degree comes from. Usually it doesn't really differentiate if the degree is in the specific field or not, if it suggests that the person responding to this had an associate degree when they responded to it. I have quite a few friends of mine that did that. They were actually, one friend in particular, she spent 4 years, got a bachelor's degree in nursing, and then she wound up, getting that bachelor's degree, becoming a registered nurse, did everything she needed to do. And then she got into the job and just, you know, it just wasn't quite her path, you know, and so she kind of reevaluated that. And she's off doing great things now. I think she's a like client preventive care thing for a while, but for a while there, she just went right back to school bus driving because she was like, oh, well, that's what I know. And I didn't like the nursing thing, so that wasn't for me, and I'm going to go back to bus driving, which, you know, isn't a bad thing, you know, but you don't need a bachelor's degree to be a bus driver. It's just she happened to have a bachelor's degree and was a bus driver. So just wanted to make that differentiation so that you guys weren't worried. You don't need an associate's degree for this job. You know, it's just, that's just what some people have. This is credentials. This shows you where you can go to find specific trainings. If you click this find training button or find certification button, it will actually track down where you can get certified for this type of stuff here in Wisconsin. I guarantee you, if you click this, you search, you know, whatever, trans, road construction, that type of thing, it will actually bring up LCO College as one of the top choices, because we are, you know, definitely one of the top choices for this kind of field. You know, there's not a whole lot available in our area. So anyways, that is a good option. There are some online trainings as well. So that's good. Real interests, we'll get into that in a minute. Realistic and conventional. Basically, realistic means a job that's more like kind of hands-on, more tools. Conventional would be something that has set time frames. So something like, I'm going to clock in on Monday at 7:30, and I'm going to work till 3:30, and I'm going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that type of thing. And so it's like very conventional, very straightforward, procedures, routine, that type of thing. Work style, that's not as important. Work values, that's kind of important, but not as much. Related occupation, we already talked about that. Wages and employment trends, these are kind of, you know, helpful, at least in my opinion. It gives you kind of an average salary. So it looks like it's about $40,000 a year. If you have that, you know, kind of on average. Now that's the whole nation, not necessarily the state. So if we just look at state wages, this is kind of what it'll give you at Wisconsin. So Wisconsin's actually a little higher than the national average. We're at about 45,000 for people in this particular career. It'll also show you kind of a projected like kind of growth rate as well. So I'm gonna have to go back right here. So it's actually above, it's right around average right now. So it's 4 to 6% growth. Right now they said that the projected openings are going to be 18,000 openings between 2018 and 2028. That's quite a large amount of jobs that'll be available in the nation for this particular career. If you look specifically at Wisconsin, it'll show you how many they think will increase in the next 10 years or so. And so it says right here, in 2016, there were 5,090 employees. 2026, they're projecting 5,400 employees. So it's like there's going to be 310 new employees added to the next batch of, you know, people in this field. So then anyways, there's some more supplemental information, but that's pretty much it. I know that was kind of detailed, but I wanted to give you more of a holistic understanding of how to decipher this, because I imagine eventually you'll be wanting to do some of this research on your own, and I felt like the video just kind of glanced right through it, didn't really give you as much detail. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to ONET. It's now 10:25. Hang on one second. I'm trying to figure one thing out quick here. How are you guys feeling? Are you wanting to, you know, kind of move forward right now, or do you want to take another break real quick here? I'm good either way. I just want to get a feel on where everyone is.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I can keep
You
going.
can keep going.
Well, let's go ahead and keep moving forward then. And it looks like we have another person that joined us here. I think that's another person. That might be Cynthia. Anyways, so here's what we're gonna do next. Everybody individually here is gonna be doing the career ONET assessment. And this is gonna give you the skills, that way you can kind of see who you are as a worker and what values are important to you. We're gonna go ahead and kind of have everybody do your own. So it'll be Richard, Anthony, Cynthia, and you guys are gonna do your own. And then for the St. Croix main camera there, I'm gonna work with you guys and we'll do ours collaboratively together. And that way we kind of have your average results and then the results from everyone else. So what we'll do is we're gonna go ahead and click I want to be a ... It's gonna open up a few different options, but you're gonna click tell us what you like to do, which is this purple link right here. And then this is the ONET profiler. And you're gonna click next. It's gonna give you a whole bunch of options, strongly dislike and strongly like. You're gonna click through that to go ahead and rank what you like. It always asks you, do you like to build cabinets is like question number 1. And you're just gonna go ahead and rank through all the different ones that you agree with and stuff. So if you guys could go ahead, Anthony, Richard, Cynthia, and then who's this last person? I'm sorry, if you dare do it.
Lucio.
But I'm not sure who you are. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's Lucille.
Lucille?
Yep.
Hi, Lucille. My name is Wes. I'm the instructor here for personal success. We're talking about resumes and career stuff. Lucille, what's your last name?
Abu Hamid.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And Lucia, do you have access to a computer right now or a phone or something you can use to access?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, I'd like everyone to go to ONET and we're gonna start the interest profiler. If you run into any complications with that, just let me know and I can help kind of walk you through the process again. And just a reminder, you're just gonna search ONET. When you get on the site, it's I want to be a ... Tell me what you like to do, and then this is where the ONET profile starts. I'm gonna put this in the chat too, and that way everyone can get in right away here. Okay, I put the link to the chat, or link to the profiler. Okay, so let's go back. You guys can go ahead and start on your interest profiler. I'm gonna go ahead and help the St. Croix site out. We're gonna do one together collaboratively, and that way we can kind of get your results as well. So we're gonna go ahead and open that up. This is gonna help determine, what we're gonna do is we're gonna rank what we like, what we don't like. So let's go ahead. There's no right or wrong answers. Just do it. Don't overthink it. Just click through what you like and what you don't. Okay, so let's start question 1, building kitchen cabinets. What should I put?
We'll do like.
Okay.
Sounds decent.
Lay brick tiles.
Brick tiles. Unsure.
Okay. Develop a new medicine.
Don't like.
Yeah.
Study ways to reduce water pollution.
Like.
Okay. Write books or plays.
Write books or plays? No. Just
Play,
like,
play a musical instrument.
No.
no.
Teach individual an exercise routine.
No.
Okay, help people with personality, emotional problems.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'd be unsure. I don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
Buying or selling stocks or bonds.
Unsure.
Manage a retail store.
Sure.
Like-
Like that.
Develop a spreadsheet using computer software.
Like,
Proofread, record records or forms.
Uh,
like,
Unsure.
yeah.
yeah, sure. That'll work.
Repair household appliances.
No.
Raise fish in a fish hatchery.
Like,
Conduct chemical experiments.
come on, speak up.
Like. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to think.
Contaminated areas here. So, study the movement of planets.
Like.
Compose, arrange music.
It's like,
Draw pictures.
Like.
Give career guidance.
give career guidance to people.
Yeah, no.
Just like,
Okay. Perform rehab.
unsure.
Okay. Operate beauty salon, barbershop.
Unsure.
All right. Manage department within large company.
Like,
Install software to the computers of a large network.
Unsure.
yeah.
Operate a calculator.
Like.
All right. Almost about halfway there here. Assemble electronic parts.
Like.
Drive truck or deliver packages to offices or homes.
Like,
Examine blood samples using a microscope.
Unsure.
Investigate the cause of a fire.
Yeah,
like,
Create a special effects for movies.
Like.
yeah.
Paint sets for plays.
Like.
Do volunteer work for nonprofits.
Unsure.
Teach children how to play sports.
Like.
Start your own business.
Like,
Negotiate business contracts.
like,
Keep shipping and receiving receipts. Or
like,
calculate the wages of employees.
just like,
I'll put on short. Just like and alike.
unsure.
Meet in the middle. Test the quality parts of before shipment.
Like.
Repair and install locks.
Like,
Develop a way to better predict the weather.
Unsure.
work in a biology lab.
Gee. Like or unsure.
Write a script for a movie or television show.
Like
Perform jazz or tap dance.
Dislike.
Yeah, dislike.
Okay. Teach sign language to provide people who are deaf or hard of hearing.
Like that'd be interesting. I guess.
Help conduct group therapy.
Unsure.
Represent a client in a lawsuit.
Like.
Market a new line of clothing.
Like.
Inventory supplies using a handheld computer.
Like.
Record rent payments.
Like. Yeah.
Set up and operate machines to make products.
Like.
Put out a forest fire.
Like.
Invent a replacement for sugar.
Unsure.
Do laboratory tests to identify diseases.
Dislike.
Being in a band.
Unsure.
Edit movies.
Like.
Take care of children at a daycare center.
Dislike. We'll go on dislike.
Teach a high school class.
Unsure.
Sell merchandise at a department store.
Like.
Manage a clothing store.
Like.
Keep inventory records.
Like.
Stamp, sort, or distribute mail for an organization.
Like.
All right, almost there, guys. 10 more questions. Oh, I guess that is it then. All right, guys. So who else has finished with their results yet? Richard, Anthony, Luis. No, not Luis.
So Lucille,
Lucille. Oh, goodness.
I think.
Lucille. Or Cynthia. Are you guys all finished up?
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm not quite there yet. I had a problem logging in.
No worries. And then Lucille, where are you at with things?
Yeah, I just got done.
Okay, sounds good. When you get to this page, you guys do me a favor. If you know how to take a screenshot, could you take a screenshot of this and then you're going to email it to wwilson@lco.edu.
Wait, W. Wilson at what?
It's W. Wilson at lco.edu.
Okay.
Yep, so if you guys could take a screenshot or try to figure out a way to get results, that would be awesome. And I'd like to get the copy of them if I can here.
Yeah, I don't know how to screenshot on here.
Okay, do you have a laptop or a camera?
Oh, laptop.
Okay, so one way to do it is go to this search right here. And, oh, sorry, it's not showing up on this thing. There's this thing called snipping tool. So if you can search in your computer, search for a thing, it looks like this snipping tool, and click new. And then you kind of highlight it like that, and it creates a kind of a little picture out of whatever's on your screen. And then you can save that to your computer. I'm actually gonna save this as the outreach average here.
I don't even know how to do that.
Didn't he just say how to do it?
Huh?
Didn't he just say how to do it?
Yeah, but I couldn't get it.
Is it there now?
Is it too fast? You know?
Just
Let's go to snippet, snippets.
Okay. So, does anyone else have any questions about like kind of taking a screenshot of this real quick before we interpret the results?
Hold on, I'm still kind of lost here.
Yeah, no worries. That's fine. Richard, how are you doing? Did you get yours taken care of?
No.
Gotcha.
Could I just like take a picture on my phone and like send it to you?
Yeah, that's fine. If you want to do that, that would work too. Is that an option for you then too, Richard?
I can't get a picture of mine.
Okay. Well, okay. Here's what we're gonna do instead. Here's what I'm gonna do. Just to make this simpler for you guys, because I don't want to have to make you go, you know, I don't want to have to make you do way too much here. So we got Richard, Anthony, Lucille. Can you spell your name again for me?
Oh, it's Asil. It's ASEIL.
Wait, can you say that again? I'm sorry, I mixed it up.
Asil. ASEIL.
E-I-L. Okay, gotcha. And then, so we've got Lucille, we've got Anthony, we've got Richard,
Cynthia.
we've got St. Croix. And
Cynthia. Cynthia.
Yep. Okay, perfect. So then what I'm gonna do here, we're just gonna get the results. I'll save this to my computer and yeah. Okay, so let's take a look real quick. Who on R for realistic? What were your score? We'll start with Richard. What was your score for realistic?
27.
27. Anthony, what was your score?
28.
48.
Oh, 28.
How about you? Oh, 28. Sorry. Asil, what was yours like?
Mine was 14.
14. Okay. And St. Croix, we got, what was our score? 27. All right. Cynthia, what was your score for realistic?
I got 18.
18. Okay, perfect. Okay.
27.
We're going to go to investigative. Do the same thing over again. Richard, what was your score on investigative?
22.
22. Anthony?
23.
43. Asil?
9.
9. St. Croix? What do we have? 22. And Cynthia, what was yours? For investigative, what was yours, Cynthia?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got 16.
16. Okay, perfect. All right. Next is artistic. And we'll start with Richard again.
17.
17. Anthony?
13.
13. Asil?
6.
13. St. Croix, what did we get? 20. And then Cynthia, what was yours?
I got 6.
6. Okay.
No, mine was 6 also.
Oh, 6. Okay, sorry, I thought you said it was the same.
Yeah.
Social. Okay, go ahead, Richard. What would you get for social?
28.
28. Anthony?
17.
17. Asil?
Yeah.
13.
17.
No, 13.
13, okay. And then St. Croix, we got 19. And Cynthia, what did you get for social?
I got 16.
16. All right. Next is enterprising. Okay, Richard, what'd you get for enterprising?
29.
29. Anthony?
27.
27. Seal?
14.
14. St. Croix, we got 28. All right, and then Cynthia, what did you get?
I got 12.
12. Okay. And then conventional would be conventional. Okay, what would you get for conventional, Richard?
25.
25. Anthony?
23.
23. Asil?
7.
7. St. Croix, we got 27. And then Cynthia, what'd you get?
I got 12.
We got 13.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, 13. 13. Not that a point matters, but
Yeah. And then Anthony, for some reason I wrote down 43. I don't think that's quite accurate for
Oh, for
investigative. Yeah.
Oh, 23.
23. Okay. I was gonna say, I was thinking that seemed a little high, but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. Okay. So I'm gonna go through this real quick here.
And then my realistic one was actually 15.
15. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Gotcha. Thank you so much for clarifying. Sometimes I just mishear things. Okay, and then revised here, be realistic. Okay, so guys, I wanted to show you this. This is kind of kind of helps you see what your skills are as a people, you know, and everything. What these mean, I'm gonna kind of walk through the next little bit. Art realistic means something like very hands-on. It means like kind of working with, you know, outdoors in construction, working out in the, you know, in the sun and the weather and the contaminants and stuff like that. Investigative would be something a little bit more like problem solving. So things like detectives would definitely fit in investigative, but also things like, you know, if you worked at an accountant and you worked as an auditor and you were working with numbers, that type of thing, you're kind of problem solving. You're looking, there's a problem there, you provide a solution, that type of thing. Maybe even something like plumbing might fit into the domain of investigative because you're kind of looking for wherever the situation is and trying to figure out what the best tactic is to fix it. Artistic is kind of as it sounds, so it'd be something you know, kind of more expressive, a little more right-brained. But one thing to think about too, artistic is not just paintings and poetry and stuff like that. It could mean things like graphic design. It could mean things like creating a project and making sure that project is done well and that it's visually appealing, that type of thing. So artistic is not just the traditional view of artistic. It can include more than just that. Social would be like, you know, as it sounds, kind of like, you know, working with other people in collaboration as a teamwork. You know, maybe something like management would be social as well, because you're kind of like working in collaboration with other people. Some very high scoring social jobs would be like social workers or counselors, nonprofit organizations, that type of thing. But it's also, you know, there is a business side of socialness. So like if you're working as a manager, you have to work with people. If you're working customer service, you have to work, you know, with other people as well. Enterprising would be like your business skills. That's going to be something like, you know, do I have the ability, the desire to start my own business, to kind of walk that through and, you know, do accounting and do payroll and do all the different things that are involved in doing a business. And then conventional would be kind of like kind of more specific traditional work. So like things like you know, clocking in at a specific time, going home at a specific time. Conventional could also include things like kind of like, you know your normal routine. So it might be more like something like road construction or working in a factory or working in a tax facility, you know, something that you're doing. It's going to be repetitive. It's going to be the same thing. But that's okay. And that's good if you have those types of skills, because that way you can, you know, do that same job and perform it very well, that type of thing. So anyways, just based on your results here, it looks like we have a lot of people who have a very good business sense here. Richard is excellent in business. And then the St. Croix, we've averaged out that business is your leading strength here, like enterprising, that kind of role, which is really a good strength to have. Realistic, looks like the rest of you, Anthony, Asil, and then Cynthia all scored very high realistic, which is also very good for you know, a job in kind of road construction. It shows that you have that kind of natural skill to, like, you know, be able to do things like more hands-on, do more construction, that type of thing. So that's actually a very good thing here. And it looks like there was quite a few of you, which I'm very happy about. You all scored very highly as well in social, which is a very good skill to have, especially if you're going to transition into a role like management, or if you're going to transition into a role like, you know, working as a team leader or a foreman, that type of thing. You're going to have a social compass, and I'm very happy to see that all of you scored very highly in social, so comparative to the rest of your scores. So that's very, very good here. So excellent work, guys. I'll just wrap up real quick here. What they basically say is the skills that you have, your characteristics, plus your job zone is equals whatever the career is that you're going to go into. So let's just say, for example, you guys are wanting job zone, let's do job zone 2, some preparation needed. So that would be kind of like the trans program here. It's going to actually give you, once you select your job zone, it will give you some options as far as what potential careers are available with your skill set in that job zone. And so here's some of the, you know, different careers that they kind of suggest. So data entry, cargo freight agent, they had billing cost rate clerks, driver, sales worker. They have first line supervisors, you know, so a whole lot of first line supervisors here. So basically, you scored very highly in enterprise. So they're saying, hey, you're very good at, you know, working with business. You're also very realistic. So you're someone who's going to be showing up, you know, and doing things, you know, with your hands, making sure things are done right. And conventional, that you have that same schedule, that same routine. And so something like a cargo freight agent, that would actually work really well, because you've got the business sense, the realistic, and the conventional. All those three kind of tie in together here. And then from here, you can just click into the career and do like what we did before. You can scroll down and see all the different options that are available for that career, you know, how much money it makes, what degrees required, what technology, that type of stuff. So, okay, that's about it. I have all of your results now, so don't worry about sending that to me because I've got them documented. It's about 10:55. Let's go ahead and take a 15-minute break here. So we'll be back at about 11:10. And then we'll wrap up the day by talking about job descriptions here. All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, waiting for Ginny. Okay.
turn it back on the recording, and we'll go ahead and get started here for the last little bit of the day. I'm actually going to wrap us up a little bit on the earlier side, just because we did have, you guys were very attentive. We did really good here. So anyways, we're going to look at here, we already looked at the career projections. That was kind of like when I walked through that whole, thing real slowly. Told you those goofy stories about getting stuck in people's driveways and by hurricanes and whatnot. So the next little bit here, I just wanted to talk about the job descriptions. And I'm sure you guys are all very well aware of what job descriptions are. I'm sure you've seen them on posted online or at bulletin boards and things like that. But I just wanted to kind of show you some of the things that might actually help as you apply, some of the things to look for in a job description, what they're looking for, and also what you're looking for. Okay, so let's just start off. What are employers looking for when they're looking for a good candidate? They want someone with integrity that has, really good work ethic. That kind of brings us back to the 7 grandfather teachings. What are some of the things that you've really lived into? Are you kind of living into honesty or truth or courage or any of those things? And I love what Cynthia said earlier about how they're, they were all related, how they've all intertwined with each other. That kind of just builds a great foundation for, general, professional work ethic and everything. Another really good thing to look at is communication skills. You're going to want to enhance those. If you kind of feel like, I'm an okay communicator, but maybe not where I could be. Both written and oral communication skills are so important. And that kind of comes back down to truth and honesty, those teachings, being able to speak, what is actually happening and being able to communicate with people. What I've noticed too is like, so one of my first jobs was at the Boys and Girls Club of La Coudray. And at that time, I had super crazy long hair down to my, shoulders, and I was a real young guy, and I was just kind of like, just eager to get out in the world and work and do all this stuff like that. And anyways, got this job at Boys and Girls Club, had no career experience whatsoever, hardly, and wound up there. There were some days where I wound up, just having a lot going on. I had to do my homework for college, or I had to do, I had some personal stuff going on, felt like I needed to, take some time off or whatever, but I didn't communicate very well with my boss. And so I'd be like, maybe just one day wouldn't show up because I've got homework and it's finals week and I need to cram this information into my brain so I can pass this test. But I tell you what, all the negative conversations I had when I was working at Boys and Girls Club, it all stemmed from not communicating well. If I had called ahead and said, hey, I've got finals week this week, I'm going to be way overloaded. If I had told my boss that and had communicated, she would have been so much more understanding. And it turned out to be a great experience. I learned those skills. I learned how to communicate. They were great and flexible. They worked with me to learn those things. But for a while there, not being able to communicate, it hindered my opportunities to advance there. There were some openings that I got passed up for just because I didn't communicate very well. And that was kind of the reason they didn't think to offer those positions to me, or to, that type of thing. So it's something too, where like communication, it's a skill, but it's something that does come with practice, but it's also something to just try to be aware of. Am I communicating well? Am I talking to my boss, my coworkers, to my clients, whoever you're communicating with? Am I doing that very well and in a respectful way? Because those are all, very, very valuable. Personable, that's another thing that's going to take you very far. They want someone who's, very likable, someone who can connect with other people. In a field like construction, one thing I've noticed that seems to be kind of a small cluster environment where, you know, people you work in smaller crews, you get to know each other, you can joke around with each other and stuff like that. And when you're in the job and you're working, everybody wants to be able to relate to each other. They all want to kind of connect because we're all social, we're all human beings. And every single one of you guys scored very high in social. So that's very encouraging. But yeah, I would encourage you too to, like, you know, just reach out, ask someone how their week is going, how, you know, how they're doing with the job, that type of thing. And maybe you guys can talk about the weather or the COVID or whatever else comes to mind, you know. But you know, I think just connecting with people is such a valuable skill, such a valuable thing. It'll bring you so many different directions. Flexibility, so someone who has creative thinking, and we already kind of talked about that a little bit. And then coachability, someone who is willing to grow, someone who can, you know, be able to see something that needs to change and then do the steps to change it. Some of the other things that I wanted to list too, I was reviewing some of these position descriptions. We'll look at that in a second. But almost every one of them, they want someone who follows procedures, who's safe, someone who's experienced, and somebody who has knowledge and education behind, you know, what they're doing. So certifications, OSHA training, CDL, that type of thing. And we're going to look at that in a second as well. Okay, so that we kind of talked a little bit about what they want, some of the key characteristics that make a great worker. I also want to transition now into looking at, what do you want? What do you want in a job? And something you're going to want to look at is a job that fits you, your personality traits, it fits your ability. Because I tell you what, there is nothing worse than being in a job that maybe you're even good at, but that you don't really like, that doesn't bring you joy. You know, that's gonna, you know, burn you out very, very, very fast. I'll tell you a little bit of a story here. One of my first jobs right out of my 4-year degree, I took a job as a social worker in child protective services. And I had, you know, my eyes wide and big, and I'm ready to get in there and help save the world, work with families and help make things better. And oh my goodness, I have never made such a worse mistake. Working in social services as a child protective service worker, it was not an ideal work environment. You know, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. If you guys have those skills, there are people who are so gifted that fit in those shoes just right, and they're a good social worker, and they love what they do, and their clients love them, and the court loves them, and their bosses love them. But I did not have those skills. I'm very kind of calm and social. I'm kind of empathetic and positive, and they need someone who's an investigator and someone who has that kind of justice in their mindset, and someone who's kind of like, you know, problem solving, that type of ability. And so even though I was okay at my job, I didn't love it, and it burnt me out. Within 4 months, I ended up dropping that job, and I actually wound up getting the job here at the college, which is awesome. And this is much more in my wheelhouse. I get to help people on an individual basis. I love what I do, so it's like almost an exciting thing. Hey, I get to go to work instead of I have to go to work. And so anyways, I'd encourage you, when you're looking for a job, look for something that will bring you joy. And I tell you what, another thing too, this isn't on the slideshow, it's just kind of my personal belief on this. People have an ability to kind of know ahead of time, and a kind of a gut feeling of like, is this going to be a good thing for me or not as good of a thing for me? And if you kind of have that discernment and you have that feeling of, ooh, I'm not so sure, I'd encourage you to at the very least, reach out to someone in your life that you know that can help kind of give you some guidance and ask their opinion on it. You never want to take, if you have that feeling, you don't want to just jump in and take it right away without really taking time to think about it, you know. So anyways, that's just my little encouragement for you. Make sure you think things through, and you know that if you do have that uncertainty, that weird feeling, that tension, that you have a support system to fall on, and that you can reach out and try to figure out what the right decision is from there. So yeah, anyways, that's my whole spiel on what you should be looking for. And I'm pretty sure most of you guys already know that by now anyways, but I thought I'd let you know my take on it. So let's take a look at a few job examples here. This is a site called Indeed. I'm guessing who knows about Indeed? Raise your hand if you know about Indeed already.
I've heard about it.
All right, cool. Got some people at St. Croix, maybe a few people that don't know as much. And that's okay. That's fine. I had no idea what Indeed was until I needed to seriously look at tons, applying for lots and lots of jobs here. So I went ahead. This is one of the world's top job search sites. I mean, they just have millions of job openings all over the world. It's like available in 68 different languages and 150 countries or something like that. It's just one of the most massive kind of job search engines out there right now. And anyways, I went ahead and looked up road construction careers near Hayward, Wisconsin, because that's, generally where, our zip code says Hayward. We're La Coudray, but zip code says Hayward. So I put that on there, and I did within a 25-mile radius. And these are the options that pop up. Now you can filter this if you want a salary of a certain amount, job type, full-time, location, that type of thing, company, a specific company. I only want to work for Boys and Girls Club. You could do that, type of thing. Experience level, that type of thing. So you can filter it however you want. But here's some of the examples I was talking to you guys about earlier that I wanted to just show you. This is an example of a job posting here. Looking for an experienced carpenter. Reliability is a must. That comes back down to that work ethic, bringing back the 7 grandfather teachings. Are you living in a good way? And we work Monday through Friday. So again, that goes right into that conventional work style, Monday through Friday. Pay dependent on experience. Must have reliable transportation. Resume and references, please. Easygoing atmosphere. So they're a laid back atmosphere. They're not somebody that's going to be super duper like productive. We need to make every ounce of every minute count. And then it kind of describes some of the work that they do. They do pole barns, remodeling, new construction, concrete. We do a lot of things here. So that's just kind of one opening. And some of the keywords here are reliability. That's something you're going to want to highlight in your resume if you're applying to this job. What can I put on there that shows I am a reliable worker and I'm going to get the job done right, type of thing. Okay, so this is another job here. I messed that up, sorry. Here, okay, construction crew member, Lester Buildings Systems, LLC. This is through Spooner. So I know someone said here earlier that they live in Spooner. You guys might even know this organization, I'm not sure. But there's a $1,000 sign-on bonus, which is kind of handy. That comes in handy. They talk a lot about like, here's the benefits. They're really trying to sell their organization. Say, hey, here's why you should work here. We have full benefits, 401k, profit sharing. This is also a whole lot of, different benefits of working there. And then you get into the qualifications. Ideal candidate would have previous carpentry experience. There it is again. We want someone experienced and strong desire to learn. That was another one of the things I mentioned. Remember, it's talking about professional development, being able to flexibility to learn, that type of thing. Knowledge and experience using hand tools, power tools, and various construction equipment preferred. So there comes the knowledge part, the experience part. Experience in post-frame construction is a plus. So it's not required, it's a plus. The ability to work in a team. So there's that collaborative, that social aspect. And all of you guys scored high in social. So that's really good. Want to be a likable person. And then willingness to comply with safety policies and procedures. So that's another piece, you know, making sure you follow those safety procedures. And it goes on and on and on. It talks about all sorts of different things. But that's an opening here. It makes $17.50 to $22.50 an hour. That's a, you know, that's a pretty good career if you're, you know, can get in on a full-time basis. That'd be a really good option here. Okay, so then another one here is underground utility locator, $20 to $25 an hour. And we're gonna look at some of they kind of start off here to talk about, you know, the atmosphere and what it's like to work there, you know, that type of thing. Essential duties, so they say this is what we want you to do. Here's just some of the benefits. So they kind of do a benefit sandwich here. They're like, it's a great place to work. Here's what you do. It's a great place to work, type of thing. And then they're saying the required knowledge and skills here. So computer skills. So if you guys, again, that's that computer thing. Again, I encourage you, if you want to learn about computers, let me know, let one of the staff here at the college know. We will try to help you get those skills so that you're in place. There are actually professional classes and workshops you can take that are free that'll help boost that ability so that you can get these kind of jobs. Valid driver's license, you'll get that through the trans program because of CDL and everything. Subject to pre-employment drug screens, self-management, and communicate with supervisors and clients in a timely manner. So that's another thing. We had talked a little bit about communication. We talked a little bit about time management, being respectful of time frames and stuff like that. That's where that fits right in there. You know, it's that they're looking for someone who can communicate well and someone who can be respectful of time frames and deadlines. And then, you know, some of the demands that are there, you want to, you know, doing a vehicle here, standing in length and distances of 1 mile, lifting 50 to 100 pounds type of stuff. So, and then they've got all the education requirements and stuff. So anyways, I just wanted to show you a little bit about how to dig into how to dig right into those job descriptions, because I'm not sure if it works this way for you guys or not, but sometimes for me, one of my biggest vices when I was looking for jobs was you get blinded by the responsibilities and you get blinded by the paycheck and blinded by, you know, what's available and what opportunities do you have, that sometimes you get lost into what this is really looking for. And, you know, what is this a right fit for me? So anyways,
I don't mean to interrupt you, Wes, but Indeed also helps you set up resumes.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I was actually that's in my resume PowerPoint here for a few weeks out, but that is an excellent point. If you guys are interested in resumes, Indeed has a great engine to help set up resumes, and it's super easy. You just type in the information that you know, the places you worked, what you did, that type of thing, and then basically it'll generate a resume for you, which you can download, which you can use to apply for a job just really easily, just straightforward, this easy apply tool. So it's very, very, very helpful. Excellent point, Cynthia. Thank you so much for reminding me, and we'll make sure to touch base more on that on the resume week here. So anyways, I'm just going to open up the floor now for any questions or comments, anything you guys want to jump in at here.
Are we going to learn how to do a resume?
Yes, absolutely. That should be in week, it's not next week, but the following week, we're going to look at resumes. And we're going to make sure we get everyone to produce one by the end of the class time. So you're all in good standing and stuff like that.
Is it better to go through Indeed or apply directly to them?
That is a really good question. I'm actually going to pull Indeed back up here because it sounds like we got some great questions around Indeed. Okay, so this is like, this is kind of generally the home page of it. This is where you're going to search. This is where you're going to look where. And right here, it'll actually show you the jobs you applied to, that type of stuff. This is the resume that Cynthia had mentioned. So if you go here, it'll actually show you all the different skills and stuff that you've had over the different, you know, course of your history, that type of thing. To answer your question, Asil, there are different jobs here. So like say for Hayward, there's some jobs right here that says apply with your Indeed resume. That job actually looks like it's really easy to apply. You just hit this button, apply now. You're gonna write in the information that's relevant. You go ahead and you know, attach that cover letter or whatever you want to add, any attachments, that type of thing. Then you hit continue and submit, and that's it. And it's just really easy, really straightforward. You can apply for 10 jobs a day that way. There are other jobs though that are more specific. Jobs like, let's say this one, route sales representative. This one doesn't have a link to apply. It has a link to apply on the company site. So you're actually just gonna follow that link. I'll bring you right to the site. And then you can, from here, get all the information that you need to start the application process. Here's a typical general principle that might actually help a little bit as well. Employers definitely use Indeed, but if there is a specific job, like this is a great tool for you to spread a wide net and try to catch as many opportunities that are out there. You know, if there is a specific job for a specific company that you're trying to work for, say for example, you want to work for Lacoudere College, one of your best bets might be to just go to the college website and go to employment. Employment. There you go. Boy, sorry, my computer froze up there for a second. And so then when you go to their employment section of whatever website you want to apply to, it'll show you the application process, what's all required. It'll show you what openings there are, and if it's full-time, if it's internships, that type of thing. So anyways, I guess my advice to you would be Indeed is wonderful for applying for a lot of jobs if you're not very, you know, if you're not set on one specific company or one specific job, like or a particular role. It's a really good way to spread a wide net. If you're looking for something more specific, like I really want to work for the school district, I would encourage you to go to the school district and find the site and look at the openings from their site. So that's my advice. Great question.
Are these jobs felony friendly?
Some jobs are, you know, I know that like, depending on the record, you know, if it was like, say, if it was drug related and you've proved that, you know, you've been able to be clean for a significant amount of time, they'll actually hire you as a school bus driver. Like that's not one and done, like you're not stuck with that. Some jobs will require like you need to pass a background check or, you know, and if you can't, they'll ask for an explanation. Some fields are harder to get into with that. So like say if you were, say if there was a felony about like, I don't know, disorderly conduct or like if that's on your record and you're trying to get a job in Boys and Girls Club, they might look at that and say, well, we can't really hire you because of this. But if it was something like, say, even if it was drug related, they might even still consider accepting an application, just depending on the circumstances and how well you can articulate how you've overcome that, you know, so that type of thing. Yeah, it kind of depends on the circumstance, but there are quite a few that are friendly to a criminal background. Awesome. Does anyone else have any questions?
Can I get a CDL with DWI on my record?
I don't have the answer to that. I'm sorry. I wish I could definitely say yes. I guess again it would be circumstantial. That's what I intuitively think is that it depending on the length of how long ago it was, that it might, people might be willing to work with you on it. But I think that it really is dependent on a lot of variables. But I know like that wouldn't affect your ability for or like construction, that type of thing. That shouldn't affect that type of domain. Yeah, great questions though. And I'll do some research on the CDL. I'd like to know that too. So I'll go ahead and do some research and let you know next time.
Thank you.
All right, does anyone else have any questions? All right, guys, well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. It's 11:38. We're wrapping up about 20 minutes early here, but thank you so much for participating and being active in this class and everything. And I'm just really looking forward to working with you guys moving forward here and everything. So, yep. And like I said, there's no homework. So you've already done your assignment this week. And then next week, we'll look at the next assignment, which I believe is the cover letter. So, all right. Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I have to talk with everyone before. Yeah, just before, but I just wanted to touch base with everyone about tomorrow since you guys will be coming to the college for class. So you guys will enter in through the 500 wing. I will send out an email showing exactly where that is at the college too as well. But you guys will have to, we can provide masks, but if you guys have your own, you can wear those as well. But we will be practicing hand washing, social distancing, so we can't be within 6 feet of one another. So you guys will each have kind of your own table. So we'll be in the auditorium. So it's a bigger space. You guys will be going outside half the time. I haven't checked the weather, but just dress appropriately for, what kind of weather we're gonna have. We will be outside, so even when we're outside, we'll actually still have to wear our masks and practice the social distancing, okay? But I'll send an email more thorough of what is expected and whatnot. Does anyone have any questions or anything? Your temperature too will be taken, everything like that. Anyone have any questions about coming to the college or anything tomorrow?
Probably gonna need help with gas.
Yep, okay, I have vouchers here at the college that I could give you when you get here. Will that work, or do you, okay.
And then Kelly.
For you guys?
I'm not sure.
We probably won't make it to LCO.
I got cards, guys.
Oh, Janine has cards.
Okay. Awesome.
Kelly,
yeah.
Will they be able to pick up their Chromebooks tomorrow then?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
So anyone who needs one, they will be here and ready to go. Okay.
And the books and stuff, or?
Yep. So all that I'll have ready for you guys.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
All right.
Do we need to
we'll
bring?
get everything situated tomorrow as well. What was that?
Do we need to bring our Chromebook and binder?
I would bring your binder, but you will not need your laptop.
Okay.
Because the instructor will be here. Is there any other questions in regards to tomorrow?
No.
No? Everyone good? Okay. Well, I will see you guys back here at 1 o'clock for the fitness.
Yeah, I do have one more question. Are we supposed to dress for construction work tomorrow, like steel toe boots and stuff, or just?
No, just regular is fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, so that's all I have, but I will see you all back here at 1.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
All right.
Guys.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.